Hello and good afternoon. This is News 9 and I am Vishnu Shankar. The demand for caste-based census is gaining traction again. After Janata Dal United, Apna Dal has also supported it. Both Apna Dal and Janata Dal United are BJP's partner in the National Democratic Alliance. The news around this development is that all of the opposition ranged against the BJP in Parliament has also decided to support this demand for caste-based census as part of the national census exercise. With me is my colleague Kartikeya Sharma.
Thank you, Vishnu.
Who will tell us more about why this is happening. Kartikeya, the SC/ST census every 10 years is a constitutional obligation, but the OBC census is not. Why is it so?
The reason is very, very simple, because SC and ST obligation is very constitutional in nature. Because of the provision set up by Bhimrao Ambedkar and the founding fathers of the Indian Constitution, is the duty to provide in terms of jobs, in terms of education, in terms of reservation, in terms of doing away with social ills. It's part and parcel of the objective of the state, because they are part of the scheduled list, and it's not something which was devised in 1947 or 52. It came into existence in 1930s itself, and you would be very surprised to know that there was a very heated debate between Bhimrao Ambedkar and Mahatma Gandhi on the issues of reservation also, which resulted in Pune Pact, where Gandhi actually, to use the word, threatened to fast till death, and Ambedkar had to give in, though later Ambedkar said that he was emotionally arm twisted by Mahatma Gandhi on this issue. So there are two things here. One, when we talk about scheduled caste and when we talk about scheduled tribe, it's part and parcel of a constitutional guarantee. When we talk about OBCs or other backward caste, these are enlightened legislative work done by our assemblies in parliament in identifying people who have not done well in last 500, 700 years and providing them benefits of job or quota in hospitals or benefits in other institutions of government like education, so that they can work their way up economically.
Okay. So, Apna Dal has raised this demand now when the assembly elections to UP are about 8 months away. This is significant in Uttar Pradesh, isn't it?
You see, now there is a constitutional, I would say, nicety of law which is being missed. Sometimes people say that, well, we will get this done. For example, in 2012, Mayawati passed a resolution in the assembly of Uttar Pradesh saying that the state should be divided into 4 parts.
Correct.
The resolution was passed, but Vishnu, who has done what?
Nothing.
On the
division
of the state? It's in cold storage, because the division of the state also requires a consensus within the assembly.
Yes.
Then the matter goes to the Parliament of India. Then it gets ratified. It has to move through multiple layers of vetting. So it's just not like that you can bifurcate a state. Even the bifurcation of states like Madhya Pradesh and Uttarakhand from Uttar Pradesh, it had a legislative mandate, which is a mandate from the assembly. Centre could not just impose the will like that. So consensus was created. But here there is a political angle to it,
yes,
which I would say in last 30 years there is an obesification of the Indian politics.
Yes.
And when
Since
I mean
1990.
Absolutely, I would even say even before that, obesification of Indian politics became authoritatively and journalistically clear in 1990s. But in terms of Indian politics, it was there when Chaudhry Charan Singh became powerful. What was the fight between Morarji Desai and Chaudhry Charan Singh? The whole issue was that the tickets distributed by Morarji Bhai, they all lost, and the people who won actually from that bigger Janta Parvar minus Sangh, who were part of the Janta Party, they were all men of Chaudhry Charan Singh. And what was Chaudhry Charan Singh's politics? It was politics of OBC segments under the larger banner of what we today call Kisan politics. So you had Kurmis, you had Yadavs, you had Jat, but over a period of time, Vishnu, what happened was that most of these Kisan netas became caste netas. Jati ke neta ho gaye, Kisano ke neta nahi rahe. So now what is happening is that these dominant castes all across India are demanding reservation.
Okay.
And the Supreme Court judgment, which came in May, divested the state government of the power to identify backward caste, and there is a reason for it.
Please tell me, why is it being raised now? Does the fact that Supreme Court quashed the Maharashtra reservation bill have something to do with this thing?
Yes, absolutely, because it was part of the judgment, one. Secondly, Supreme Court is of the view that it should not exceed 50%. States like Tamil Nadu and Rajasthan, they have their own proposal. In one state, I think it's 87% or 86%, whereby even the upper castes have got the quotas. Second state is North India, Rajasthan state, which is also trying to exceed. Now, there are three things here. Is Indian democracy or the idea of social progress according to the quota? Is it according to your caste strength, or is it the merit one? It's a fundamental constitutional issue which needs to be debated.
Yes.
The second issue is, Vishnu, the dominant peasantry, if I have to be sociologically correct, has done very well.
Yes.
Jats are politically empowered.
Thriving.
Marathas are politically empowered.
Again,
Yadavs are politically empowered.
Again,
Meenas are politically empowered. So when Gujars are politically empowered, now politically empowered peasantry, now if they want rights within the segments of the government for jobs and education, by developing, by saying that, by developing the idea of backwardness and saying that they are not doing well, like Patidars in Gujarat,
yes,
is it fair to give them that backward status? That is at the heart of the issue, because state governments or the various political parties, out of political consideration, because they are the voters, are giving them the benefit where they might not need it.
Voters in large numbers in states. So Gujarat goes to assembly polls at the end of 2022. UP goes to polls in the early part of 2022. In 2023, in the earlier part, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh all go to polls, and they have significant numbers of OBC castes. So should we say that this is going to be a running theme now for the next few years in terms of Indian politics, in the Hindi heartland at least?
Absolutely. Since they are going to overturn the judgment of the Supreme Court, various state governments are there. Now the issue is ramification in context of other castes. Suppose Lingayats get it in Karnataka. You have the Patels in Gujarat, Marathas in Maharashtra, Jats in, other states. So what will happen? Will the dominant peasantry, which is in control of the legislature and which is in control of the land, will also monopolize the jobs? Then what happens to the other castes? Absolutely. So, a lot of people say it's about the upper caste. No, it's not about the upper caste. Reservations, if more than 50%, also violates the principle of merit, which is fundamental in our Indian constitution.
Yes.
So social justice has to balance the imperatives of merit, and that is what our lawmakers in past have battled with. And I think this whole OBC debate, on which every political party today is saying that we are going to support the government, is an indicator of complete obesification of the Indian politics, or I would say even obesification of the larger theme of Hindutva in this country, where the faces of the Hindutva project from 1990s have been OBC leaders. We can start from Kalyan Singh to even Narendra Modi as a CM. They were all OBC leaders. Vasundhara Raje Scindia, the Madhya Pradesh of the Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh. So it just goes on to say that somehow the basic character of the Indian politics has changed, and the pull it is exerting through legislature and affecting it in law is something which people should think very deeply about, because it has an underplay of what our constitution should be. How do we define merit? How do we define backwardness? How do we define a commitment towards scheduled tribes and scheduled castes?
And what do we do about merit of
Absolutely.
the candidates who want reservations?
This is not a bill. It is actually touching upon certain foundational issues of the state.
Correct. Thank you so much, Karthik,
Thank you,
for all
Vishnu.
that information.
Thank you.
So, the fact that caste-based census is now raising its head, and this is going to dictate the politics of at least the Hindi heartland and beyond, we will keep you abreast of all the developments that happen on this subject. Thank you for being with News 9. Continue to patronize News 9, because we'll get you the best news first. Thank you very much. Bye for now.